Most people, according to your theology, will end up in hell, and that's not a God that I would want to worship.
Well, you can choose not to worship him, but it's people's free will where they're choosing to reject him.
Why would God create this dichotomy in the first place? Why would he give humans free will, fully knowing, because he's all-knowing, that this would happen to most humans? It doesn't make any sense.
Say someone came up and they kidnapped you, and they took you and put you in their basement, and they chained you up, and they said, you're going to marry me, and you're going to love me, and you're going to raise my children. Is that love?
I feel like that's kind of what God does, because he created us, forcefully created us without our consent, and then said, you have to love me or else you're going to spend eternity in hell. Okay. Why doesn't God present himself in a way that we can actually verify, first of all, and then love us in a way that is loving, like that we can say, yeah, I would be silly to not love you because you're so loving. But we don't even have the direct evidence that he's real. We just have this idea of a loving God. And so we need a way to verify that we have this real relationship with a real God. Kind of like how we can verify our real relationships with people.
No, of course not.
No. So he took your free will away from you, and he said, you're going to love me. God doesn't do that. He's not going to take you and force you to love him like that kidnapper. So he gave free will so that there can be love. But if someone came up and they wooed you and you...
But again, he forced us into existence and gave us kind of an ultimatum saying, you need to accept these things that are being told to you are true about my son dying for your sins and resurrecting. And if you don't accept these things that are being told to you are true without any direct evidence, then you will go to hell. So I don't see how that's very loving. It's putting a lot of emphasis on unverifiable ideas and putting a lot of fear on people.
But if someone came up and they wooed you and you fell in love with them and they asked you to marry them...
Of course, if I actually fell in love with somebody that was real, that I could actually see and touch and not have to imagine, then yeah, it's going to be great, a good relationship. But we have to get past that first step of actually verifying that this God is real. There has to be some, like, the same way we have a real relationship with a person, we need to have that with a God, but we don't. We can just have a relationship with an idea of a God.
And you said, yes, that's going to be love. Because why? Because you had free will.